Yeah. Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I ain't faking now. Everybody knows my heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now, I made mistakes, but now I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home. On my own, in the zone, that's the only way I know. Feeling low, about to blow back up. Here I won't ever let the doubt creep in. Gotta pop a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone. It's so cold. Break down, always feel like I could break now, but I never let it take me to that place now. I won't ever let my thoughts get away now. I got better things to do, picking fate now. I just wanna be the best, call me great now. I don't know if I'm okay or insane now. I remember better days on the playground, hoping I can find my way. Even when I'm feeling down, I fight. Even when I don't know what is right, I'ma pick a side and I'ma take pride. I will decide my fate and I will never let them tell me who I am. If you try to shape me, I'll be damned. Planet on the ground is where I stand. Cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold. That I'm breaking down. Everybody knows heart's vacant now. Yeah, she hates me now.
You have to just drag and drop it from the components list. Then we have to take one breadboard.
Arush,
Yes.
can you repeat from the starting how you opened this? Because some are having doubts.
Okay. So first I have to log out, then I can
Not
explain.
just from the starting opening this work area.
Okay. So when you will write tinkercad.com and on your web page, on your website, so if you have sign in, then this screen will appear. So you have to click on circuits because we are then we have to So I think now you are all have done. So if you have done, you can drop a D in the chat box.
I think you may continue.
I think Arush, yeah, you can continue now.
Okay, sir.
I will tell you everything which is happening in chat. You just continue.
Okay, so now we have to take our next component, which is a resistor. So you have to clear your text on the search bar. Then this you have to take this component resistor. You have to take two resistors and the first resistor, you have to click on this first resistor and you have to change the resistance to 10 kilo ohms. You have to write,
Arush, please tell. Arush,
yeah,
please tell what you have taken after gas sensor.
okay, so I am repeating. So when you will clear
Please
your,
tell Arush what you have taken after gas.
after gas sensor, okay, so after gas sensor you have to take a buzzer, you have to write a buzzer, then you have to take this a buzzer which will give us the indication of fire by buzzing up. Then our next component will be light bulb, so you have to write light bulb, then you will get this light bulb. So these were the two components you have to take after gas sensor. Then after taking these components you have to clear the text which was on the search bar. Then after that you have to take two resistors, this resistor, so you have to take it two times, you have to take it. So now we are having one Arduino, a breadboard, a gas sensor, a buzzer, a light bulb and two resistors. And then after taking out these all components, you have to click on the first resistor and then this screen will appear, this small box will appear. So you have to change the resistance to 10 and it will be same as kilo ohms only. You don't have to make any changes in that.
Arush,
Yeah.
Arush,
Yes.
can you tell what you have taken after breadboard?
After breadboard. So after breadboard I have taken this gas sensor by after breadboard I have taken this gas sensor by writing gas only. You can write gas or the whole you can write. Then you have to take this component on your workspace. Then after that you have to take a buzzer. It will be displayed as a name piezo, which is called in Tinkercad. Then you have to take another component which will be a light bulb. So this will be a light bulb. You have to drag and drop on your workspace. This is the light bulb, this is the buzzer, this gas sensor, and then rest two components I took were resistor. This resistor you have to take it two times on your workspace. So as you can see I am having two resistors. Then you have to change this 1, earlier it was 1 and you have to change this 1 to 10. Then the color of the back. So if you all have done, we can start the circuit designing now. So
Arush,
should I continue the circuit designing now?
can you tell why you have taken two resistors? There's a question.
So I have taken two resistors because one will be for gas sensor and one I will use for light bulb. Or if you want that I am only taking the two resistors, that one for smoke sensor it is mandatory, but the second one with 1 kilo ohm that is not mandatory, that I am only using to increase the life of my light bulb. If you want that the life of your light bulb should be increased, then you can use resistor, and if you don't want you can delete that. That is optional, not mandatory.
Now you may continue.
Okay. So you have to put your smoke sensor on your breadboard now. So you can choose any place now. So after that we have to start making a connections. So you have to take a wire from the 5 volt which is in the power section of the Arduino to the negative of the breadboard. So this will be the connection of negative terminal. Positive terminal, don't connect it to the negative, you have to connect it to the positive. 5 volt will be connected to positive terminal of Arduino, means breadboard. Then the ground pin from the Arduino will be connected to the negative terminal of breadboard. So these two wires will help the breadboard to get the power from the Arduino. So after that you have to connect a wire from the negative of the breadboard to the topmost part of the breadboard. And then a wire from the positive terminal to the topmost part of the breadboard. Make sure you connect to negative and positive to positive. So these were the connections for the breadboard to get its power supply from Arduino. Then we are starting making the connections for the smoke sensor. So for the smoke sensor, there are six pins. There are 6 pins for the smoke sensor. So this first one, which is A1, it will be connected to minus terminal, means ground pin, negative terminal of the breadboard, and you have a 10 kilo ohm resistor in that. And the second pin, which is H1, that also you have to connect to the negative terminal of your breadboard. And for your A2 pin, for that also you have to connect to the negative terminal. So you have to connect it to the analog pin, and you have to use analog pin only because this smoke sensor, it is a analog sensor. So you can connect it to any analog pin you want. So analog pin is on the right side of the power section. You can find a section of analog in. So to any pin you can connect. So I am connecting it to A5. So we are done for A1 pin, H1 pin and A2 pin of the smoke sensor. So I am repeating, for A1 you have to connect it to the negative terminal by attaching a resistor also. Make sure your resistor is of 10 kilo ohms. Then for H1, if this one, you have to connect it to the minus terminal only, negative terminal. Then for the pin number A2, you have to connect it to the analog pin. Any analog pin you can connect it to. So you can find a section analog in, and you can connect to A5. So I am choosing A5. Then rest of the 3 pins means B1, H2 and B2. These 3 you have to connect it to the positive terminal of your breadboard. For the smoke sensor and for the breadboard to get its power. So Rashid, do I have to repeat something?
Wish, please. Yes, you have to.
What?
You can repeat from the connections.
Okay. So the first connection was that you have to take a wire from the ground of the Arduino, which is in the power section, and you have to connect it to the negative terminal of breadboard. This was the first wire. And then second was that you have to take a wire from the 5 volt of the power section of the Arduino to positive terminal of the breadboard. Then on the right side you have to take a wire from the negative pin of the bottommost part of the breadboard to the topmost part, and you have to connect it to negative and negative. and then in the same way you have to connect positive to positive from the bottom to the topmost part of the breadboard. So these were the connections for the breadboard to get its power from Arduino. Then we are coming to the smoke sensors connection. So the smoke sensor is having 3 pins, A1, H1, A2, B1, H2 and B2. So the ground pin means you have to connect it to the negative terminal of the breadboard by adding. Make sure your resistor is of 10 kilo ohms, which is necessary. Then for the H1 pin you have to connect it to the negative terminal only. Then for the A2 pin you have to connect it to the analog pin of any analog pin of the Arduino. So I have connected it to the A5 pin of the Arduino. Then rest pins which were B1, H2 and B2, those 3 pins we have to connect it to the positive terminal of Arduino, means breadboard. These were the connections of the breadboard to get its power supply and for the smoke sensor. So now we are going to make the connections of the buzzer and the light bulb. So buzzer is having 2 terminals, positive and negative. So the positive of the buzzer will be connected to any digital pin. So you have to take a wire and you have to connect it to the any digital pin of Arduino. So I am connecting it to the 7th pin of Arduino. Then for the negative terminal of the buzzer you have to connect it to the ground pin. So you have to take a wire and you have to connect it. And you have to connect it to the ground pin of Arduino. So I am repeating, for the positive terminal of the buzzer you have to connect it to any digital pin. Any digital pin you want, you can connect it. And then for the negative terminal you have to connect it to the ground pin of Arduino. Then comes a light bulb. So it is also having 2 terminals, terminal 1 and terminal 2. So for the light bulb, the terminal 1 it will be connected to ground pin and the terminal 2 will be connected to digital pin. So this is a light bulb. So your terminal 1, you have to take a wire from terminal 1. Then you have to attach it to the negative terminal of breadboard, which is the same as the ground. So you can connect to any pin of the breadboard where negative connection is there. Then for terminal 2 you have to connect it to any digital pin you want. So I am connecting it to the digital pin number 6. So now we have done our connections. So now it's time to change the color of the wires. So I am starting with the ground and 5 volt pins. So for the wire which was coming from the 5 volt, you have to change it to black. By clicking on the wire, there will be a screen, there will be a box in which it will ask for the color, and there will be arrow. You have to click on the arrow, and for the 5 volt wire you have to change it to black. For the ground you have to change it to red. For another ground you have to change it to red. for all the ground wires you have to.
Can you wait?
Yes.
Please wait for a while. There are some students who have not done. Oshish, can you message that what query you have in the chat? What do you want to repeat, Pratika? Please mention that too. Arush, can you tell about the wire color?
Yes, I am repeating. So
Yeah.
to change the wire colors, you have to click on wire. You have to click on the wire of which you have to change the color. Then if you will click on the wire, so this box will appear where it will be mentioned the name of the wire, and it will be mentioned as color. So you have to click on this. As default, the color will be green, so here it will be written as green, and there will be an arrow on the right side, so you have to click on that arrow. And for the ground pins, for the ground wires, you have to change it to red. The wires which are coming from the ground, you have to change it to red, and the wires coming from 5 volt, you have to change it to black, so that we can identify easily.
Arush, there is a query for you.
Yeah, I am seeing that only.
Yeah, please address that.
What he is trying to say, that we can connect the positive terminal of Arduino to any digital pin of Arduino. I think he has written components. Sorry, in place of first Arduino. Just 1 minute.
He means that we can connect the positive terminal of buzzer to any digital pin of Arduino. Then on Arduino, where is the digital number? Why there is the digital number?
Okay, so that digital pins you can find on the topmost, and these pins are there. The name of the number of the pins are there, like it is from the counting of 13 to 0. So these are used. These names are there to identify, so that Arduino can identify when we will be writing our code. So we will be also mentioning our digital pin number, to which pin number it is been connected. So that is for only Arduino to understand, and also for us, so that we can understand easily that this wire was connected to this component.
Yes, now the doubt is clear. You may continue.
Okay. So for the 5 volt and ground, I told you, and other wires you can change to any color, because 5 volt and ground were main. So other wires you can change to any color, like I am choosing turquoise, then I will choose blue. So like this you can change the color of the wires. So it is for only identifying the wires. It is for us, so that we can easily understand the wires. To start, so we have done the circuit designing. So this is a circuit diagram, you can see. If you want, you can take the screenshot if you are lagging behind. So should I move to the coding? Hello, Rishit. Okay, so I think most have done. There are many D's in the chat box. So now you have to click on code. You can see this code on the left side of start simulation. You can see this code button. So you have to click on this code, then the screen will appear. So this is a block code. So we are not going to write block code because in Tinkercad only block codes are available for Arduino, but in real life you have to write text code only. So now you have to click on blocks. There will be an arrow. You have to click on that arrow and then you have to select text. Then it will ask that are you sure that you want to close the blocks editor. So you have to click on continue. Then this text will appear. So this text, it is a default text for any Arduino coding. So now we have to delete this text because we don't need this text. We can delete this text. So now we are going to start a coding. Excuse me, Rishit, there is a I think there is a query in the chat box. You can see there is a R written in the chat box by Pratika Patel. So now I am starting up with the code. So basically Arduino's coding is divided into 3 parts. The first part is defining section, second is void setup, and the third is void loop. So in the defining section we have to define the name of a component and also the pin number. So let me give you an example. So in the defining section we do coding like this. We have to write int. Then as we are having 3 components which are gas sensor, buzzer and bulb, so we have to write int. Then we can give any name. So I am writing first I am writing gas, which is for smoke sensor. So you can give any name. Then you have to write a colon, int gas colon. Then our next step will be you have to repeat the int. And then for the buzzer you can give any name. So I am giving the same name as buzzer only. Then after that I have to write a equals to mark after int buzzer, then equals to mark, and then the name and then the number of the wire to which it is connected. So I have connected the buzzer. Yes.
Can you repeat for the code again?
So how to move into coding screen? Okay.
Yeah, how to do that and the code do.
Okay. So I am explaining it once again. So you will find a section. You will find a button on the left side of the start simulation. You can find this on the right side of your screen. This is a code section. You have to click on this code. So when you will just 1 minute. Yeah, so when you will click on this code, so this screen will appear for you. So you have to click on this blocks, you have to click on this small arrow, and then you have to click on text. So then it will this Tinkercad will ask that are you sure you want to close the blocks editor. So you have to click on continue because we are not going to do the block coding. And block coding is only available for Arduino in Tinkercad only, because in real life if we make projects using Arduino, so block coding is not there, only text code is there. That's why text code is more preferable.
Arush,
Yes sir.
check your battery source also. I think your laptop is about to dead.
Yes sir, I am checking that. So now we are on the text screen, we are on the coding screen. So we are going to write text code because text code is only available for Arduino. Block code is only there in Tinkercad. And if we are using Arduino, so only text code will be there, no block code will be there. So this text, we have to erase this text because this is not needed. There are mainly three sections. There are three parts of the coding of Arduino. The first is defining section, in which we have to define our components. We have to define our components by giving them a name, and then we have to write the pin number to which they have been connected. Then after that we have to click on then after that second section is void setup, in which we have to define that whether our component is input or output. So after that, in the second section we have to define that whether our component is input or output. And in the third section, which is a void loop, we have to tell our Arduino that whether our component will be high or low, whether it will be glowing. If it is a LED, it will be glowing or not, or if it is a buzzer, then it will be start buzzing up or not. We can in the simplest way we can say on or off, but in Arduino it is called as high or low. Okay, so now I am starting up the code. Till now, if you are having any query, you can drop in the chat box. So I am continuing now. So for the defining section, the first part of coding, you have to write int, then you have to write gas, which is for the smoke sensor. You can give any name to the smoke sensor. Excuse me, Varshit Sharma is having query. Okay, int. So int.
Yes. What is int?
So that is the command.
Yeah, int.
That is the command which is used in the defining section. It is used to define our components. So it is made by the. You can say it is the default only. We can't use anything else. Instead of int, we can't use anything in defining section. Mainly it is used to define our components only. Okay, so now he has written D. Okay. So int, then first component we have to define a smoke sensor, then int gas, and then colon. So we are not going to write the pin number because we are not going to write the pin number according to our project. We will define it in the void in a we will define it our void setup. It will be int. Then we are going to define a buzzer. So you can give any name. So I am giving buzzer is equal to. Then we have to write the pin number to which it has been connected. So in my case it is connected to 7. Make sure you check here also. Then colon. Then in the same process you have to write once again int. This will be the for light bulb. You can give any name. I am giving bulb, you can give any name. Then light bulb is connected to pin number 6 and colon. So in this way our void. Now we will move on to void setup and drop in the chat box. Just 1 minute.
Yes, you may continue.
Okay. So our second section is void.
Yeah, there are no queries.
Okay. So our second section is void setup. So you can leave one line to make our code more clear. And then
Arush,
yeah.
the sequence of writing name of components can be all changed also.
Yeah.
Can you answer this?
Yeah, it can be changed. It can be changed. Only in the void setup and in the defining section we can change the sequence. But in the void loop we can't change the sequence in this project.
I hope you are clear, Varsha. You may continue now.
Okay. So you have to write void setup. So in this way our void setup has been started. Then you have to open a simple bracket and then we have to start writing our code. So you have to write pen in small case, then M in uppercase, and then ODE in lowercase. Pin mode, curly bracket, then our gas sensor means it was connected to A5, so it was input, so we have to write capital A5 comma input. Then we have to close our curly brackets and then colon. So in the same way we have to do for another two components. We have to write pin mode, curly brackets open, then now for the buzzer, so it was 7 comma and output, then colon. Then once again we have to write pin mode for our light bulb, curly brackets open, then we have to write 6 comma output, then curly brackets closed and then colon. So this was the these three lines were for the three components. Now we have to start a serial monitor. Okay, so for serial monitor you have to write serial dot begin. Make sure you follow the same format, because if you will change the lowercase and uppercase, so it will not work. You have to follow the same format. Then curly brackets open and then 9600, which is the command for starting a serial monitor, then colon. Then at the last step we have to close our simple brackets. So in this way our void setup is also completed. Now you have to write void loop. I hope it is clear till now. If you are having any query, you can drop in the chat box. Rishit, do I have to repeat? Hello. Okay, so there are D in the chat box. So you have to write void loop, then you have to open a curly bracket and then close it there only. Then in the next line you have to start a simple bracket as we did in void setup. Then now our work starts. So we have to write gas analog which text. Jia Nagpal, can you repeat? Can you tell which text I have to repeat? Defining one or void setup? The whole code. Okay, so you have to write the first step will be you have to write int, then gas, and then colon. So this was for the smoke sensor. So we were defining our smoke sensor in our defining section of the coding. Then our second step will be int buzzer is equal to 7. 7 we are writing because I have connected my buzzer to digital pin number 7. So you have to check to which pin you are connecting. So I would prefer to follow my step only, my format. After writing int buzzer is equal to 7, then colon. Then we have to write int bulb is equal to 6 colon.
Arush,
Yeah. Hello.
can you repeat the code?
Yeah, I am repeating that only from the starting.
Okay.
Okay, so after doing these 3 steps, our defining section is over. Then we were coming up to void setup. So void setup is the part in which we have to define. Okay, so in the word setup part, we have to define that whether our component is input or output. So we have to write void setup. You have to follow the same step, void setup, and then you have to open and close the curly bracket. So after that, you have to start a simple bracket, and then you have to write pin mode, pin in small case and M in uppercase, and then O and D and E in lowercase. Pin mode, then you have to start a curly bracket, and in which you have to write A5, which is for a gas sensor. So you have to write the pin number to which you have connected, and make sure you have connected the smoke sensor to analog pin only. After that, we have to write pin mode, the same format, pin mode, and then pin number 7 we have to write, which is for our buzzer, 7 comma, and then output. As a buzzer will be output, it will give us output in the sense of by buzzing up. Then we have to close a curly bracket and then colon. Then once again we have to write spin mode, curly bracket 6, which is for a light bulb, comma, output. We have to write output in uppercase only, and then we have to close our curly brackets and then colon. After that, we have to write serial dot begin, which will start up our serial monitor, in which we will get our values. So serial dot begin, S in uppercase, rest all in lowercase. Serial dot begin. Then we have to start a curly bracket, in which you have to write 9600, which is the command to start the serial monitor. Then you have to close the curly bracket and then colon. After that, you have to close the simple bracket, which will end up our word setup. Now coming to word loop, so you have to write word loop, and then you have to open and close the curly bracket. After that, you have to start a simple bracket, in which you have to start writing gas in small case, then is equal to, can give space, is equal to analog read, R in uppercase and the rest all in lowercase, analog read, then curly bracket A5, curly bracket closed, and colon. So this command will help the Arduino to read the analog pin this command will help the Arduino to read the analog pin number A5, and the values which we will be getting from our analog pin number A5, that will be known as gas. So after starting the loop, why you are opening and closing the brackets? So for that, that is a statement, and if you will not do that, so it will not work. That are the basic statements of our coding of the Arduino. So this activates a void loop. If you will only open this bracket and you will not close here, so your all the functions that will be in void loop, that will not work. So that is a necessary thing that we have to do. Then after writing, you have to write serial dot print serial dot print ln, and then curly brackets open and gas, and then curly brackets closed and colon. So if you are having any query, you can drop in the chat box. So after that, after writing serial.print ln, what ln means? So ln, ln, it is used to display our values on a serial monitor. Basically, these are the statements, these are the commands which are used to display the values in our serial monitor which are used to activate a serial monitor. So these are the different commands. Then in the next line, of our code, we have to write delay. So this delay is in milliseconds. Delay, curly brackets open, then you have to write 100, curly brackets closed, and colon. So after writing this, we have to start our if and else condition, which will be the main code, which will be the main part of our code in our project. So after writing this, you have to start if and else condition. So for that you have to write if, curly brackets open, gas is lower than 500. You have to put this lower mark using angular brackets, then close the curly bracket. If gas is equal to 500, then we want, just a minute. Yeah, if gas is equal to 500, then we have to start a simple bracket in which we have to write serial dot print and curly brackets open.
Repeat from 16.
Line number 16th. Okay, so in 16th it was,
Yes.
okay, is equal to analog read, gas in lowercase, analog in uppercase, and rest E, A and D in lowercase. Then you have to open a curly bracket in which you have to write A5. So I am writing A5 because my smoke sensor is connected to A5 pin of Arduino. So you have to also check that to which pin of Arduino your smoke sensor is connected. Okay, so then you have to close the curly brackets, then colon. Then you have to write serial dot print ln, serial S in uppercase and rest all in lowercase. This L is also in lowercase. Serial dot print ln, then curly brackets open in which you have to write gas. Curly brackets open and in which you have to write gas, and then colon. You have to also close your curly bracket. Then you have to write delay and curly brackets open, and you have to write 100 and then a colon. So using these steps, our Arduino, it will start displaying the values of the gas sensor in a serial monitor, and it will also give a delay of 100 milliseconds. After that, we have to start our if and else condition. So you have to write if, curly brackets open, gas. Then you have to use the angular bracket which will be used to if, curly brackets open, gas is lower than 500, then curly brackets closed and a simple bracket open, serial dot print ln, then inverted commas in which you have to write high gas concentration. Then you have to close your inverted commas and you have to also close your curly brackets. Then you have to write digital write, then curly brackets open, and then 7 comma and then high, and then curly brackets closed and colon. In the same way you have to write in your next line digital write. This time the pin number will be 6 comma high, curly brackets closed and colon. Then you have to close your simple bracket. So this if condition will help that if the value of the gas will be lower than 5, it will be printed that high gas concentration, and also our buzzer will start buzzing up to give a notification. Or so I hope you all have completed till now. Drop it in the chat box. Please drop D in the chat box if you all have completed.
What query, Varshit? Can we change? So Arush, can we change the unit?
For the which for this gas is equal to 500, that
In which gas is measured?
yeah, that only na. Yeah, you can change, but for that, like if 500 is the value, like if your gas will be here, about here or here, so that time 500 value will be there, and you can change the values. So if you will change the values up to 400, so at that time this here will be the position, at that 300 here will be 200 here, but you have to also change the resistance at that time. But in this case you can change the if you want that you're using this circuit in a place where high fire can be there, which is a place where there can be fire cost up to 1000 also. So it's up to you that what value you keep.
So Arush, can you tell again about that? How can we change the units in which gas is measured, because Varshit was disconnected?
Okay, so gas I am writing here 500 because when we will start the simulation, so that gas value, if it will be here, the smoke sensor will find fire or gas up till here, so that value will be up to 500. From that the range of the 500 will start. So it's up to you how you can high or change the values, but this value will be accurate. This in this, if you're using this circuit in a kitchen, or you can also change this value up to 1000. But if you will keep this value up to 100 or 200, so that will not work, because at that time the fire will be there in the whole house. Does it answers your query, Varshit?
Yeah, it answers. You may continue now.
It's up to you only that how much value you can keep. So then you have to write else, then you have to open a simple bracket in which you have to write serial dot print curly bracket inverted commas, and you have to write no gas, then inverted commas closed, and then curly bracket also closed. So I have missed one thing here, so you have to put this in this serial dot print in line number 22, you have to put a colon also there. So if you have not put in, please put that also. Here also we have to put a colon, then you have to write digital write 7 comma low, then curly brackets closed and colon. Then you have to once again write digital write, and then curly brackets open 6 comma low, curly brackets closed, and then colon, and then you have to close two brackets. You have to close two simple brackets, one simple bracket for this else condition and one simple bracket for closing this void loop. So our circuit is now our whole project is completed. So if you are having any doubts, you can tell. Are there any doubts?
Please mention your doubts in the chat section so that they can be answered. If no queries are there, then you can 10D in the chat.
Okay, start simulating.
Arush, can you start simulating?
Yeah, now I will show you the simulation.
Yeah.
So when we will start the simulation, so you have to click on your gas sensor, so it will be on any random position. So you can see our serial monitor, it is printing the value which is lower than 500, and there is no gas printing. And then if you will make it closer, so value will increase, and our buzzer will start buzzing up, and also our light bulb will start glowing up. So so if you will make too closer, so the value will be around 1000. So our Varshid, are you having any query?
What's the query version?
I think he's saying to repeat. So if you will start the simulation, so just 1 minute. So first of all, you have to click on your smoke sensor, means gas sensor. So this smoke will appear. So in Tinkercad only this will appear, not in real life. So and this imaginary line will be there. At that time, you can see in your serial monitor, it is printing the values which are lower than 500, which means that there is not too much fire, and it is also printing no gas. So our first step is working fine, that it is printing no gas and also the correct values. Now if I will make it closer, so the value will increase. You can see, just 1 minute. Yeah, you can see the value.
Arush,
Yes. No, yes.
can we make it in large scale?
What?
Can this project be made on a large scale?
Yeah, you can make this project on
Can
a
this project will be?
yeah, you can make. You can adjust the values according to you, and then it can be made.
And like whatever projects you can make on Tinkercad, you can even implement those projects in real life. In fact, very soon we are going to start a course where you will actually learn how to make these projects in real life. That complete practical projects. You just need to have some components which I use in Tinkercad, and you will be able to make your electronic projects very easily. If you want, I can share a link of a WhatsApp group where we will discuss about the course, and there we will teach you how to make practical projects with R.A.N.
Okay, so just 1 minute, sir. So if you will start the simulation, and if that smoke will be, it will be near to the smoke sensor, so our buzzer will start buzzing up, and also the light bulb will start glowing up, and there is also printing high gas concentration. So now this circuit is working fine. So the first step, that if there will be a fire, so we will first get a notification from buzzer which will start buzzing up. Also we will see light bulb glowing up, and also you can see high gas concentration being printed on our serial monitor. So now our circuit is being completed. Now if you are having any question, or if you are having any questions, so you can ask. Are there any questions?
And you can even unmute your mic. You can have a direct conversation with Arush.
And you can also make this sensor in real life by joining the course, and you will easily learn in that how to make this. So I think that there are no queries. So hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you. Now I'm sir. Can I tell that Padlet one? Hello, sir.
Yes, definitely, Arush, you can.
So that I am sharing a link in the chat box where you can leave your feedback by clicking on the screen. You can see there is a plus option, and you can double click anywhere, or you can click on this plus option and you can give the feedback of this session. So I am sending this link in the chat box. Hope you enjoyed the session. Please leave your feedback on this link.